Hello and welcome to the Vibe with Kai podcast. It's your boy Kai, and today I am sitting with the incredible Shelly Cole, who the Vibers know as Madeline on Gilmore Girls. Before we get to my interview with Shelly, please be sure to follow me on your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you are on, I am on. Follow me at the Vibe with Kai. Or you can visit my official website at thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My guest today is Shelly Cole. Shelly has been an acting coach in Denver for many years. I was in Denver last year. I loved it. Before moving to Denver, she was an actress in LA for many years, working regularly, and she has quite the impressive IMDb page, which includes 3.5 years on Gilmore Girls, NCIS, Criminal Minds, CSI New York, Cold Case, just to name a few. Her feature films include her breakout performance as Sally, a drummer in an all-girl band in the film Pray for Rock and Roll, opposite Gina Gershon, Dre DiMatteo, and Mark Blucas. She is... I'm so happy that she's here with me right now. Shelly, hi. Happy. We're filming this on a Sunday. Happy Sunday.
I'm in my bed. I've left my bedroom and returned.
I'm so happy. No matter where you could be, on top of a building somewhere, just kind of hanging out, and I would just be thankful that you are here. It doesn't matter where you are.
Got the monkey here too.
Oh my gosh!
Anybody who knows me on Instagram or many of the Gilmore Girl fans know that Monkey is a staple in my life.
I love it. Hi, Monkey.
Hi, Kai, what's up? That's not how she talks. She's like, Mom, that is embarrassing.
What's funny? I do want to ask you. So obviously, I'm not sure if you heard or not, but the past year there was sort of like this worldwide phenomena that was going on that kind of changed life as we know it. What was it like navigating 2020 just for you personally? What was that experience like?
Well,
it's like where to begin, right?
I mean, it's funny, when I used to work regularly as an actor in Los Angeles, I went to bed at 8 o'clock at night and I was up at the butt crack of dawn, just ready to go. And always, I never had any issue with waking up early. It was a pleasure. And these days, I just like sleeping late and hanging out at home and watching Netflix and reading and cooking is a big thing for me. Hanging out with Monkey and my boyfriend. And those are all things that I really love to do anyway. Right. So apart from breaking my foot, which I'll talk about in a second.
Oh no!
Apart from that, the shut-in was not a problem for me. I have these squirrels that I feed, and they come around. Phil and for a while I thought that Phil's boyfriend. Jerry, I thought Phil's boyfriend was Phil, and it turns out that Phil is a girl. So Phil just had babies. Philomena,
I feel like you should be writing this down and making it into a pilot because I feel like there's some drama there that we can use here. That's the season 1 right here.
Well, okay. So for a while, I thought that Jerry and Phil were a married a gay couple, and they had this little baby that would come around, and that was like their surrogate. But it turns out that Phil is a girl. So so I spent much of 2020, like last year, feeding squirrels, hanging out with Monkey, cooking, Netflix. But then on my birthday in August, I broke my foot.
Oh, no.
The 5th metatarsal was the most outside bone, and I broke it in half. And so then the next 4 months of my life were in bed in recovery. And I also coach acting. So getting to my studio was a challenge, but it really taught me how much people care about me and wanted to help me and take care of me. So many of my students, their parents drove me to and from, which is kind of a long way. And so it was a year for me of breaking and
Yeah.
and healing and being very grateful and just chilling.
Right. I always say to people that 2020, to me at least, and you might agree with this, is probably one of the best worst things to happen, right? Because I feel like for me personally, I learned a lot. Like you, I learned a lot about myself. Having to spend a lot of alone. I didn't have a squirrel family to entertain me, but I was able to learned so much about myself and my mindset, and I was able to take on new things and meet new people. And so like I don't know if any of that would have happened if it weren't for the past year and how everything went down. And so like I always have to make it a caveat saying I mean I don't wish like obviously death upon anybody, and I don't want anybody to get sick or anything like that. But I am thankful and I am grateful for what the past year has offered me, because I don't think I would be in this position now if it weren't for any of that. Is that how you view it as well? 2020.
I think I have to personally, I have to view it like that because the alternative is to just have it be a complete wash,
Right.
and I don't think of it like that.
Yeah.
For those 4 months when I was like basically, I couldn't do much. I was in bed and stuff. Um, I would perfect this throw from here to this little. I have this little cat door hole, but it's
Yeah.
for Monkey, my dog, in my glass door, and I would perfect the throw of like throwing nuts through that thing, and
Yeah.
eventually they just got to the point where they were just coming inside and hanging out. Just little fun things to be grateful for like that. The entertainment
Yeah.
that was high entertainment for me. Learning how to say ask for help was a big
Mm.
thing for me because I've always been very independent. I don't have any family apart from the friends that I
Sure.
consider family. I'm really terrible at asking people. I really need something, and so learning that was the most valuable lesson I took from this past year, learning to ask for help, which is not necessarily just about me, but it's also about how grateful I am for the students,
Mhm.
for my friends, the people who
Right.
showed up in my life, and in my community and on my
Yeah.
community, Facebook page, everyone is like, who needs what? Let's all help each other. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I think that is a very important thing to take note of. Is that uh, a lot of people came together in a sense of community,
Mhm.
at least in the people that I know, and I think that is a very valuable thing
Absolutely.
that we've
Absolutely.
that we've all learned to kind of come together
Right.
apart.
Right, exactly.
Sort
Right,
of.
right. It's really because I've probably made more friends in the past year than I have in like my entire life. So like it's nice to find like because I'm an introvert, believe it or not. Surprise, and and so like to find other introverts out there has been really nice. Let's talk about Denver. So
Yeah.
I went to Denver for the first time last year. Um,
When
well, I'm sorry.
when were you here?
I was there in July. I think it was right after. It was either right before or right after 4th of July weekend. And I went out there because I was dating somebody from Denver, and and then she's like, "Come on out and fly." I'm like, "Oh, I've never been to Denver, so let's go." So I flew out to Denver. It's a very lovely town.
Yeah.
It's
It
incredibly
is.
lovely. I didn't think that I would enjoy it because I'm a Philly boy. So
Mhm.
I never thought that I would enjoy that town. It was really nice. It was sweet.
It is. When I first moved here, I actually moved here for a guy,
Mhm.
and that I'm not with anymore. But I had been looking for an excuse to get out of the business, out of Los Angeles for a
Sure,
long time.
sure, sure.
I just there's just I just reached the point where I just said I don't want to live the rest of my life
Right.
in this loop, and I don't want to buy a house
Right.
and
Right.
I want to like have a normal life where I'm not always, uh, you know, like it's a very hectic life
I'm
to
sure.
be
I'm
an
sure.
actor.
What made you? So what made you decide that you wanted to just be like, I need to go? Was there like a particular moment, or was it just kind of like building up of multiple things?
Well, so I was at the height of my career life, my acting career life,
Hmm.
when my father got sick, and he was living in a veterans hospital in Texas.
Okay.
And so I was back and forth. He was basically he couldn't walk, and for the last year of his life, he was confined to a hospital room.
Hmm.
And so I was back and forth, flying back and forth constantly. And every time I was actually working on a movie at the time, and I was auditioning all the time. I was booking jobs. I was just I was at that place where I was breaking through the glass ceiling
Hmm.
and having panic attacks. And that's when I started having chronic panic attacks,
Hmm.
and they were debilitating. And so every time an audition came up or work or some sort, I would have these horrible, crippling panic attacks. My hair was falling out. I
Hmm.
was flying back and forth to see my dad. And I thought, I need a break
Yeah.
from this because it's really stressful.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And so I told my agent, and I was working on a movie at the time. I was in my trailer, and I spoke with my agent. And he said, "Hey, how's it going on set? I have an audition for you for a blah blah blah." And I said, "Listen, man, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I got to take a break."
Mm.
He said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "I am 100% sure. And I know that this is going to really be a huge detriment to moving forward and growth."
Hmm.
And the glass ceiling, I was feeling like I was breaking, but I was listening to my body
Yeah.
and saying, what's more important? And my sanity and my emotional growth. I mean, I truly believe, I mean, my hair was falling out. That is a physical
Hmm.
symptom of stress.
Absolutely.
And that made me realize that that kind of stress can move deeper and deeper into the body,
Mhm.
and know that I've got to listen to myself
Mhm.
no matter what the consequences. And I knew what the consequences would be.
Right. Right.
So I did. I took about 8, 9 months off.
Right.
And to my agent's credit, he said, it's going to be really hard to come back. And I said, I do. And he said, "Well, I support you." I mean, his job is to make money off of me,
Right.
and for him to support me through that, I really appreciate. I said no to a huge
Right.
TV job
Wow.
that I won't say what it was, but a
Yeah.
huge TV job. The
Wow.
show is still on, and I just was like, I can't. And so
Yeah.
coming back after that was so stressful. And it was like, I don't want any more stress,
Right.
man. I just don't. It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I had an opportunity to move to Denver and I knew I wanted to coach acting with kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
The few things that I've ever been good at
Mhm.
are acting, working with children in some form, um, and people skills and stuff, and animals, like
Absolutely.
that kind of connection, those connections, those are the things that I've always been good at. And so I knew when I moved here that I wanted to pursue that.
Right.
And I fell into it, and I'm so happy about it. I mean, it
Yeah.
certainly pays a lot less
Oh,
than
sure.
acting.
But no, but I'm sure just from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, I'm
Yeah.
sure you are more just at peace about
Oh yeah.
who you are, what you can offer, and how you can go about your day without worrying about what you can have that sense of peace that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's very different, and I guess I'm coming full circle here. I talk a lot, by the way. If you ask me a question,
You're fine.
So to come full circle with why you asked me this, so after I broke up with the fellow that I had moved here to be with, I knew it really wasn't going to work out, but it was a great reason to leave.
Right.
And for the first year or so, I had one foot in and one foot out of Colorado. And then finally, I was visiting one of my best friends, Michael. He and I were driving around like Koreatown in Los Angeles, and I go, I don't ever want to live in Los Angeles again. And he goes, I hear you, honey. If I could go, he produces reality television, so he really has to be there. Yeah, he wants to leave too, but
and he's still there to this day.
He still lives there. Yeah. I love it here. It's so beautiful. I don't ski, for God's sake. I said I broke my foot earlier. Like, I could catch a baseball out of the sky without even looking.
Right.
I have hand-eye coordination, but man, I can't walk a straight line. I have injured myself so many times. I've dislocated my shoulder. I've done so many things just because I can't walk.
There's no way. There's no way. My friends invite me to go out skiing all the time. I'm like, listen, I'm going to go, but I'm going to sit in the lodge with a hot toddy or a Jameson whiskey, just like.
And I'll be there. I'll be over here by the fire.
Exactly.
With my headphones in. I'll probably either read or you're listening to a book.
Right.
I'll go do that, okay? Because I'm gonna have fun.
I'll see y'all a little bit later.
I'll be here with all my bones intact. Because I swear to God, if I were to get on one of those slopes,
no,
I'm gonna be like, you guys can send the ambulance to that tree over there. That's where you can pick me up.
That's why I could never skateboard either. Because I skateboarded like back in middle school.
Oh, I tried too.
Oh, I can't. No.
That thing flipped out from under me. I tried to ride a motorcycle one time. That motorcycle flipped out from under me and tore off. I'm on my back going.
I could never. I've always had like a special respect for like stunt men and stunt women because like. I'm just like, there's no way. I'm sorry, but there's no way I'm going to do that. So that's all. So one of the things that we were talking about before we hit record was just how there's been this resurgence lately in regards to Gilmore Girls, which is crazy, to think about. And for those of you, obviously, if you haven't caught on yet. Shelly played Madeline in Gilmore Girls, and it's 2021. The show began back in, I believe, 99, right? 2000, yeah. And so 21 years later, it still has these legs, right? It still has this ongoing effect on the world today. Is it surreal for you to still be talking about and still reliving this show that was a part of your life 20 years ago?
Surreal, I guess, would be a way to say it. Sure. There were many, many years during in the last 20 years where it was definitely a show that has been a thing for a long time, but I think Netflix had a huge what's the word I'm looking for? Had a
huge impact on
impact. That's the word. Yeah. The older I get, the harder it is to pick out certain words that are in there. A huge impact on like this huge resurgence of the show. Not that the show ever went away and was lost, but it really got put back onto the front burner, and in a lot of ways. And I'm certainly grateful for that. Being a teacher is a lot of work, and it doesn't pay all that great. I mean, it's fine, but it certainly doesn't. So having those surprise mailbox monies
Those
show
residuals
up.
that come in, you're just like, oh, cool.
Oh, I was not expecting that.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
pay
So,
my health insurance for a year.
right, exactly.
It's just
So
like,
I want to take you back. At what point when you were on the show,
mhm.
at what point or what moment did you realize you're like, oh, this show is popular? People like did you have like one particular moment where you're like, oh wow, I think this show is actually really popular?
uh, there's a few. One moment that I recall, I was up in Vancouver with a good friend of mine, and her boyfriend's band. Back in the day, there were this band named Rooney, and they were and this like other band, Phantom Planet. They were all part of this like Hollywood Kids kind of,
Sure.
I don't know, bands playing. So I went up with my friend Sarah because her boyfriend, now her husband, his band, that band Rooney, was playing. And we're just like in this little fun little dive bar place to watch bands. And there were all of these Japanese girls waiting outside after the band was playing, and the van was sitting there, and they're unloading their equipment, and there were all of these little Japanese like 15-year-old girls, and they're all waiting to get their records signed, like they'd buy the record, and then this little gaggle of them saw me, and now they wanted me to sign the back of like Rooney's record, and I'm like, I'm not gonna, this is.
Right.
It was so weird. That was weird. Just things like that. My boyfriend Michael, also my best friend. I have all these Michaels in my life. I don't know.
A lot of Michaels, yeah.
Yeah, it's some biblical name.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so Michael, my boyfriend, and I were at this little beer tasting place in our neighborhood about 5 years ago or something, and we were playing trivia. Just he and I were like playing Trivial Pursuit. We just hold the card and like we both guess. It's really fun to play it like that. Anyway, so we're ready to go. And we were like, check please. And the barkeep comes up to us and she said, your tab has been paid. And I said, what? And they gave us our receipt, and it had written, thank you for your service. We loved Gilmore Girls. And I thought, oh my God, where are they? And she said, oh, they're gone. They're gone. They just,
oh my gosh,
they didn't want to be acknowledged. They wanted to acknowledge you. And I thought, whoa.
Wow.
That is a classy. I'm going to use that move sometime.
I know, right?
That's a classy move.
If I ever see, but here's the thing: if I see you, like if I go to Denver and I see you, I'm going to come say hi because we're friends now. It's official. So you're.
Oh, you definitely. You call me and let me know when you're going to be here.
I will, and we'll hang out and all of that.
How did it go with that girl? Did it?
No, oh gosh, no, it did not work out. And so like I was mad at the city of Denver for about a month. I was like, screw Denver. I don't like Denver.
It's not Denver's fault.
It's not Denver's fault. Wait, I went to my first country bar when I was out there. It's called.
Well, hey, that's not. We're not. I don't know what bar that is, and I'm not gonna.
They called it a country bar. It's called the Something Rose or something, I think.
Oh, that's in Golden.
What's it called? I don't remember the name of it.
Something Rose. That's in Golden.
Yes. So I went there. That was my first time ever at any kind of bar that's like that, where there's like line dancing and stuff like that. I've never been to that before in my life. So she took me there, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty chill." And so, like, I was the only black guy there, and like, so all the eyes were on me while we were doing the line dancing, and I was like, I have to nail this because I can't do this dance wrong.
I'm trying to think of how to do a hoedown line dance.
I was so proud of myself.
Yeah, you really have to pay attention to those. It's counting and steps, I think. Although I don't know really.
Yeah, it was hard, but I got it. It took me a couple tries, but I got it. So with that said, how often do you get asked about Gilmore Girls? Because I feel like one of the funny things is, as I was prepping for this, I was like, I feel like there is no question that I could ask that she probably hasn't been asked already, right? And so,
Probably.
it got me thinking. I'm like, I wonder how often you just get asked random questions, and what is a common question that you get asked pretty much anytime somebody interviews?
I'm not going to do your job for you.
I need you to do my job. I need you to do it for me. I'm lazy. I need you.
Let's see. The most God, I don't know what the most common question. Yeah, I think I can't think of any question that hasn't been asked.
Right.
Of course, that's why I can't think of it. But if you had one, I will welcome it.
Yeah, because it really got me thinking. I was like, I'm pretty sure over the past 20 years she has done so many different interviews, especially after now that the fan fests have been going on and things like that, and all that. And I'm like, I need you to do part of my job.
I was kidding, of course.
I need you to do.
Okay, I can't think of what question has been asked the most. I think the most frequent question I've ever been asked is, what was your favorite episode to film? Mm-hmm. And that one, it's a tie between.
Wait, can I guess?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess.
All right. It's a tie between two.
I'm going to say one of them is when Rory and Paris go to the beach on spring break. Is that one of them?
That's one of them.
Yes. Okay.
The last episode I filmed.
Right, that's right. I did read that was the last one that you and
yeah, and I knew it was going to be my last episode.
Yeah. The other one, the others, was it, oh gosh. I don't know. I don't think I can guess the second one, but I figured the spring break one was one of them.
That one's my favorite. And then there's one that comes really close to that.
Was Rory already in college at this point?
No, I was only in two of those.
Right. Because that's right. Because when she first got there,
I think it was in year 2, but I'm not 100% sure. It was the Bengals episode.
Oh, right.
Because I got to work with Melissa McCarthy and the Bengals, and it was just a lot of fun.
And you all went to the concert in New York.
Concert Interruptus.
Yes, and then you and Louise decided to skip out.
Yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah,
with some sketchy dudes to some sketchy apartment.
They weren't sketchy; they were hot.
But they were sketchy. They were sketchy.
They were hot. That's why we went. They hired 2 really handsome guys. One of them was Brandon Routh, who went off to play.
You hung out with Superman.
Well, yeah, he was Superman for like a minute.
For a hot second, Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. They actually, I ended up being friends with those guys for quite a while.
Nice.
They were really cool. Brandon was about as innocent a human being as you could get.
Really?
Yeah. And then, so the other question that I get asked a lot was, why weren't you in the revival?
Oh, that's fair. And it's funny because I remember when I was talking to Valerie, I remember her saying that the revival was difficult in the means of, like where everything's filmed. Like it wasn't like the Gilmore Girls area anymore. Like they were sharing a lot with multiple productions, and they only have certain times to film it, and then trying to coordinate like all of this stuff in advance.
Yeah. Well, so actually, when the revival was announced, my agent person immediately got a call and called me and said, "Hey, I said, I think I know why you're calling." Yeah. And he goes, "Yeah, it's good news." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so excited. That would be really fun to not go back into the rigmarole of acting, but to go just like do that for a little while. That would be so fun."
Right.
And he said, "Yeah, it's pretty much a done deal, but like we're just waiting for, whatever details." And then turns out that I wasn't. And I come to find out that Teal lives. I know where she lives now, but she lives somewhere else. Yeah. She's married up with a son or daughter or like child, and she's just so far removed from. It doesn't make any sense for Madeline to be there without Louise.
Yeah, it would have been because I can't picture one of you without the other. You know, like
although at the fan festivals,
yeah,
it's just me. She's
right,
just not, and I respect her decision and her
right,
choice to do that. She has a normal person job
right.
where at least I'm still in the world of
Well,
acting or whatever.
but she's
she's
so far
she's
removed.
not in
Yeah,
she's so removed from it, and like I said, I completely respect that,
sure.
and I understand it, and it was quite a while before I really knew that and really understood why I wasn't in
Right.
the
It's the right.
the reunion.
Yeah,
And once I figured out why, it was like, oh, I
yeah,
totally get that. I
yeah,
really
yeah.
do.
It's funny because the chemistry between you two was always fantastic. I felt like y'all just worked off each other so well. I guess as an actor, right? And I'm gonna ask you to pull out the acting coach here in you as well, and combine it with the experiences that you had on the show. As an actor, what did it take for you and Teal to have that chemistry that which has become friendship goals for a lot of people out there now? Like, what was it like getting that chemistry between you two?
Uh, so she and I were like 10 years apart in age.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Uh, Me, much like Lane, I was like 27 when we
Yeah.
started the show, and she
Oh,
was
wow.
17.
What?
Teal. Yeah.
What?
Keiko was also 27.
What?
Mm, yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah. And
Wow.
or something like that. And anyway, and Teal was 17. She was emancipated. Uh but the thing that really solidified, well, first of all, we spent so much time together.
For sure, sure.
Like just in our trailers and
Right, right,
on set and just all the time. We just spent so much time together
right.
that you just form that kind of like unspoken bond. We formed an unspoken bond where we're just together,
Yeah,
kind of like Bert and Ernie or whatever, I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, but also the number one component of that was the writing.
Sure.
But I also got to say, I was there from there's the pilot and then there's episode 1, and episode 1 is when everyone kind of comes together and starts the whole life as a family, right?
Right,
Because the pilot is kind of a standalone thing.
right.
You edit, blah blah, then it goes to network and they say when, and whatever, and then they decide to do a series.
Yeah.
And that's when episode 1 starts, and that's where I came in.
Yeah.
Episode 1, and Teal and I and Liza, and so we just started we started with the whole production as one big family.
Yeah.
And from the very very beginning. And so that was really cool to have in order to establish that comfortability on set. Just all of us being together all the time from the very very start, it really did provide for a great sense of kind of like home.
Yeah. Well, like when did you feel that you had like a grasp on the character, like that you're like, oh, this is who I am? When did you feel like you had a full grasp on it?
Well, when I auditioned for the role, it was possibly going to recur. I don't think they really anybody knew at that point which it was all about chemistry and what works and what doesn't. And if it works, you keep, this is supposed to be maybe one episode,
Right.
maybe more, who knows. But the audition was Mara Casey, one of the 2 casting directors, Jamie Rudofsky is the other one, and then Amy. Amy and Mara were in the room.
Right.
And at that time, it was just like a little crappy little trailer,
Right.
like a motor, like a, like a single wide trailer. And yeah, I mean, who knew that it was going to become
like what it's known as today? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like eventually we had our own building, like production, casting, blah blah. Anyway, so I go in with the scene where I'm in the bushes, where we're in the bushes, that first scene where we're introduced.
Yeah.
And I go in for that scene, and I'm like, hate nature. Ugh. And whatever. And so I'm like, okay, thank you. And I go, and Mara chases me down in the parking lot, and she goes, oh, hey, Shelly, is it? Come back. Amy wants to see something a little different. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I come back in, and she had a couple of little adjustments for me that she wanted me to, do. And the idea was that she wanted Madeline to be just like odd.
Okay.
But like she couldn't put her finger on it, but it was just like she wanted Madeline to just kind of be I can't even put it into words.
Right.
And so whatever it was she was looking for, I was able to like pull out of my ass and do right there on the spot.
Nice.
So I did it. And I think Madeline just evolved from that. Whereas Louise was very sexy and like with her voice and and just like whatever. She was that character. She was that. Madeline was just sort of off in a different kind of Madeline like sphere or something.
Right.
And I think between Amy's writing and whatever I did to create that character, I don't know. She just evolved into this kind of odd bird, right? I don't even know. And if you've ever seen any of the other work that I've done, it's nothing at all like Madeline. Madeline is in her whole little world all her own. And every once in a while, if I have to catch it on TV, I'm like, who is that?
That's hilarious.
I mean, it is a kind of a person. I can see that Madeline is a part of my personality that evolved into this like soup. Yeah, my mom likes soup. Oh, what were we talking about? Oh, right. But like I said, when I happen to catch something on TV, I'm like, that's that. So I don't know. So she's so odd but likable, and nothing I've ever done
has ever been like a character.
Nothing like Madeline at all.
Right.
At all. And I don't know where she came from. Somewhere in here and the writing of Amy's, I don't know where she came from. But again, I see her every once in a while. I'm like, I almost don't recognize her. She's just this little odd bird. I don't know how else to describe her.
I know about Amy and Dan. Like, I know they're very particular about like the words they write and all of that. And there's not really much room for improv. Like
none, zero.
But with that said, did you ever get to give any like input? Like you're like, hey, I think anything like that? Or are you just like, no, I'm going to read the script. This is exactly just figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first real job, and it was an amazing training ground because it taught me that when you're doing a television show, as an actor, you do not ever. It's the writers in television. The writers are like the very top of the food chain.
Right.
Whereas in a movie, the writers are very, very important. But the first time I did a film was Pray for Rock and Roll, where I'm surrounded by these actresses who have done a lot of other movies, etc. And I'm sitting there at our first table read, and they're just like, they're using the script as kind of a guideline, but like saying however they would say it. And I'm just like,
you're allowed to do that?
I don't understand what's happening. And so you don't know. No, we didn't have input as to what our characters would say or do. I mean, God, no, not in Gilmore Girls. That was Amy and Dan.
Right.
And I mean, that's why one of the many reasons the show is so addictive and such a great success is that it's like they had this ship and it would run like within an inch of its life. And that's why such long days occurred. And my hat is off. 100% to the crew on the show because, you know, they don't have a trailer that they can go hang out in,
Right.
you know, and chill. And they had to be there before
And after, yeah.
and
And you guys had, like,
after.
was it 18-hour days? I think that.
Long, long, long days. The
Yeah.
longest day I think I ever did was 17 hours, but I think they did more than that a lot of the time. I mean, most people say that was the hardest show they've worked on because of the hours.
Wow, really?
Well, I can't say most people say that, but I know that the cast and crew have always said that it was a very difficult show.
Were you sad when you found out that you like that was going to be your final episode in I guess it was season?
I mean, I was when we after the third year, I was shocked that we were asked to come in for, I think it was 401. I
Right.
think we were back in
Before
the
we
first
first got to
episode.
college, right?
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
were in two
yeah,
of those episodes.
yeah.
For 401, I think it was 401 or 2. I was like, "What?" I think it was 1 because I remember filming on my birthday in August,
Yeah,
and I was so surprised.
yeah,
And pleasantly surprised. And then all of that time goes by until the spring break episode,
right.
and I wasn't. It was bittersweet with a big, big, big helping of sweet
Right.
because I did not expect to even be asked back again. I really just didn't expect it, because they'd moved on to college, and Madeline and Louise ended up
That is
like
part of
going to spring break and staying.
right,
Like
right.
that's
Well,
that's
what's funny is that so your character ended up playing an incredibly important role in the whole Dean Rory dynamic here because obviously during that spring break episode, Rory hands you her cell phone and
yeah.
then you make a phone call and that kind of sets the tone for Dean and Rory for like the next season, and it's all because of you, Madeline. How does that make you feel? And with that said, are you Team Dean?
Okay, I'll answer your first question first. How does that make me feel? Honestly, I never even thought about it until you put it to me like that. So, okay. Second, am I Team Dean? You know what I am?
Yeah.
I'm Team Jared.
Okay, I like that.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't have an opinion about who I think that Rory should end up with,
Sure.
but I am Team Jared because I think Jared is a really, really great guy. I think what Jared has done in terms of being very vocal about his, debilitating depression,
Mm,
has been important
absolutely.
for. I mean, like I work with kids and I understand how important it is for them to have a voice into things that aren't just light and fluffy, but like really matter to them. And for them to have a someone like a major star on one
Yeah.
of their favorite TV shows come out and say, listen, this is real. This is something that I suffer from. It is, and it's okay. This is something that I'm not ashamed of,
Yeah.
that I'm going to be honest about. They need to have those kind of role models other than like the role models that are just like, TikTok famous for doing whatever it is that they do. And I'm not diminishing TikTok
No, I
or
get
that. What I'm saying is I think it's really important to have role models who speak to the scary stuff too.
absolutely.
And I'm Team Jared in that way.
That's fair. Okay, I like that answer. That's a good, that's a good answer. And it's true because that's actually probably one of the things that that I talk about a lot on my channel. Because it wasn't always Gilmore Girls. Like everything I do, even though a lot of it has become Gilmore Girls lately, I've always been about positive vibes and good energy. And the reason that I talk about that is because I always document my experience in life and everything that I've been through. And I say to people all the time, I don't ever pretend to be some like self-help like guru or like motivational like superstar or anything like that. The only thing I can do is tell people about my experiences and what I've been through personally, physically, mentally. And if people can get something out of it and apply it to their life, or if it makes their life a little bit better, or even if it's something as simple as saying, hey, listen, you're not alone. There are people that are going through what you're going through, and there is hope, then I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. That's all I ever want people to do. So it's nice to hear, and I should probably highlight that too in regards to what Jared has done, because he's doing that, and his platform has grown significantly. I think he's on Walker Texas Ranger now. I think he is Walker Texas Ranger now. Doing this thing, and that's awesome. So I had four more things for you, really quick. I call them quick hits, where I'm going to ask a quick question, and it's just like whatever your answer.
I like this. Nobody's done this before, so this is okay.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Hang on, let me see.
Here we go. All right, got to warm up. We're good. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Funniest cast member?
Melissa.
Most serious cast member?
Fudge, Kelly.
Okay, that's fair. Who required the most takes?
Me. I don't
know. What do you miss the most about your time on the show?
I'm not answering quickly, but I know exactly what I'm trying to say. The stability that it gave my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that it was a constant. Right. In my life. And for someone who really only had a father and whose father died a long time ago, he lived during this part, but I've always needed that sense of family, that sense of like a constant. Yeah. And that it gave me that kind of constant in my life.
Where's Madeline today?
Well, I've thought about that. She's living her best life.
Yeah.
She'll never not be living her best life.
Right.
She's probably, I think for a long time, I thought that maybe she and Louise had like decided, they were gonna have, like, I think Madeline got pregnant, with like a sperm donor, and she's carried, on purpose, right? Yeah. And his name is like some sort of French name because she loves all things French, like Sebastian or something. And he's like a little, in his little blazer, and he goes to private school, and and if he's gay, even better, because Madeline would love to have a gay son. I don't know if that's okay to say, but. Oh my God, Madeline would have a gay son.
Yes.
And we will look after her when she's an older lady and, keep her out of bad lighting and chiffon. And, just having a great life, always laughing and keeping things light and funny. And I think that Madeline still loves men, but she doesn't need a man,
Yes.
So, whether one is in her life or not, I don't see Madeline with like a husband that, thick and thin. Like she's like, whatever. I've got my gay son. Come on, Sebastian. I don't know. She's happy.
That's fair. That's fair. Cast member that you would want to work with again soon?
I mean, for God's sake, are you joking? Kelly. Yes, Kelly. I love Kelly. But Melissa, I would do anything to work with Melissa again. God, she's amazing. Melissa's the person that you see at craft service, or that I would see at craft service from time to time, because we rarely had in seeds together.
Right.
And I would see her, and it'd been a while since I'd seen her. And she's that person that would come up to me and say, "What's going on? How's your boyfriend? What's going on? Have you cooked anything good lately?" Just really includes you in.
And very personable. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And she's so funny. God, have you ever seen her do any of that guest starring stuff on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, my God. It's funny you said, I literally just 2 nights ago rewatched her as Sean Spicer. Like her first time as Sean Spicer at the podium. Oh, my.
She rarely looks at cue cards that I can tell.
Oh, absolutely.
she just riffs. I mean, she's so funny. There's that really hilarious scene that she does with Jason Sudeikis in The Office. It's like an office scene.
Yeah.
Oh God, I think it's like pizza or something. She eats people's leftover pizza or something. I would love to work with her.
Right. Well, did you when you were working on the show, did you know that like she was gonna her or even Jared or anybody or even what's his face Milo, all these people, did you ever think that these people would blow up as much as they?
I mean, did I think that? Yeah. That's not a thought that crossed my mind. Did I? I mean, certainly all of it is in the wonderful realm of possibility.
Right.
But at the time, it's really hard to have that kind of like foresight into the future. Like, I wasn't even thinking those things.
Right.
Michael's bringing me some scrambled eggs.
Oh, very nice.
You're welcome. I didn't want them to get cold.
They're not going to get cold.
Okay.
We need a jalapeno now, though. No, I don't think anybody really. I don't know.
Yeah.
No. But God, what was I going to say? Shoot.
In regards,
I can't remember. It's gone.
Oh, it's all good. Listen, that happens to me all the time now. Like if I don't get it out, like I'm just like, especially when I'm at work in the meeting, I'm like, I forgot. I forgot. That's just. I'll be 34 in a couple weeks, and I'm already just like forgetting things just out of my brain.
When's your birthday?
May 26th.
What does that make you?
I am
Taurus?
a Gemini. I'm like right on the cusp. I'm like at the beginning of Gemini season.
Okay, I'm the last day of Leo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I admit people have been asking me like they're like, okay, that's your sign, but what's your rising sun or something? Like I'm like, I don't know. I don't know any of those. I don't know any of those.
You don't have to.
When people ask that, I should probably look it up because people ask me all the time. My last question for you is this.
Yeah.
So, well, first and foremost, thank you for sitting and chatting with me. This is such a pleasure and an honor to sit and talk with you. I know that you are an acting coach and you get to work with a lot of young artists and professionals, nowadays. And there might be some that might be listening right now that are looking to pursue acting as, a profession, as a career. What advice would you give to young performers now, based off of the experiences that you've had as a performer in this industry? What advice would you give them right now if they're listening?
Well, I have to choose my words here because I have a tendency to ramble. I think hard work, commitment, and hard work.
Yeah.
That's an invaluable skill to develop. I think it's also important to if you want to be an actor, if you want to do anything really in life and you want to succeed at it, in my personal opinion, I think it takes focus and hard work and dedication and the kind of hard work that pays off, like not horrible. I'm not talking, I don't know what the hell. See, I'm rambling now. But my point.
No, please go ahead.
My point is that I think it requires showing up, doing your work, being on time, being a really a respectful person, learning, having manners goes a long, long way. When you're on set and someone does something for you, you say thank you and you mean it. Look people in the eyes. Listen.
I feel like that's a lost thing nowadays.
It's not lost.
I feel like
it's not lost, but I think that sometimes younger people have to be reminded of it a little bit because technology has really become a huge character in our lives.
Right.
And so putting your phone down and really paying attention and listening and reacting, I mean, in general, that is one of the most important things you can do as an actor is really listen and react. And learning that skill in life is also really important.
I have a little surprise for you.
You do?
I do. I have a little surprise for you.
I like surprises.
I know. This is a little surprise. Look who it is.
Hey, Valerie.
Hi, how are you? I figured out how to hook these up yet. Have you started? You haven't started yet, right? No.
We're wrapping up.
We're rounding a third here. Sliding into home.
Right. So for those of you that are wondering, who is this lovely woman on the screen right now? This is Valerie Campbell. She is the key set costumer for Gilmore Girls, worked on the show from season 1 all the way up through the revival. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, how are you guys?
Belated birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Do you see this? A fan made that last year. One of the Gilmore fan girls made
Who
that
did?
year. Dulcie. She's the one that always dresses up like Lorelai, and her husband always dresses up like Luke. And we dubbed her husband, his name's Jason. We dubbed him Nice Luke, and Nice Lorelai.
Oh, I remember. Okay,
so
can you just hold on for 1 second? I have to show you something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
But the ice cream social, you had an ice cream social on Saturday, and I'm sure that went well.
Yeah, no, it was I mean, we didn't really socialize with ice cream, but it was just a Zoom. We did a Zoom yesterday. My mom turned 80 and I turned 49. I'm getting old. And so we surprised my mom. Huh?
40s are the new 30s is what I'm told.
It is. Oh my God, that's so cute.
I know.
Who made that for you?
So this matches, when we're on the stairs in the Yeah. So I think it was the end of the first season, or was it the last scene in episode 1? I can't remember.
I think it was towards the end of the season.
I think it was the last.
I was there, and I wasn't there at the very beginning of the show.
Oh, then it was the last episode of season 1. We're at the Greystone Mansion and we're on the stairs. I'm in the middle and I'm holding this little. So one of my students, his twin sister is a wonderful artist and she made this of me. And I'm actually holding the yellow notebook that I was holding.
Oh.
And this is exactly it. So for the fan festival this year, she's making a Rory and a Lorelai doll from their costumes from the Lorelai's first day at Chilton. So Lorelai's going to be wearing the pink with the trench coat and the jeans and stuff, jean shorts, and so she's making those, and
that's so cool.
Oh,
I
have no words. It's so cool.
It's funny because the fandom, and we were kind of talking about this, the fandom has been like incredible. I know that they've accepted me with open arms, over the past, 6-7 months. And so and both of you have had a much larger experience with the Gilmore Girls fandom, over these last bunch of years, and it's just really cool to see the Gilmore Girls universe being introduced to a younger generation, and while people that were growing up with it are still reliving and rewatching it over and over and over again. Like that's super exciting. That's really cool. I'm sure that feels great for y'all as well.
Absolutely, it's very cool how they have just keep coming and coming, and I last night, I have to share this with you. Last night, one of my friends had told one of her friends to buy the book, but she happened to be a Gilmore fan. At first, I thought it was because of the podcast. And so she wrote me a note, and her note was basically, this is for my daughter, and her favorite moment was the birthday morning wake up in the bedroom where she says, "Happy birthday, little girl. I can't believe how fast you're growing up." And so every time it's her birthday, she wakes her up that way.
Oh.
Her daughter. And so I drew this last night.
Oh, that's so cool. By the way, for those of you that are watching, what Valerie is speaking of, she has a book that you can purchase on her website. I'll put the information down at the bottom. And how many copies do you have left now?
78.
78.
Of this original book, yeah. And I'm working on the second one, and you'll see me on my TikTok kind of drawing new recipes and stories.
We have to get Shelly on TikTok.
Yeah, why aren't you on TikTok yet?
I don't know. I didn't even know what that.
Earl can totally, Phil and his babies could be totally on there. Oh my God, you would have such a following.
Her babies.
Well, yeah, her babies.
Her babies. Jerry and Phil and I don't want. I can't expand my technology universe any more than it already is.
It'll happen, Shelly. It'll happen.
Don't tell me. I'm still not on Twitter.
Twitter, I'm not really on Twitter.
But you are sort of.
Things will post to Twitter for me. I don't actually go to Twitter. And then I'll pop into Twitter every once in a while and be like, oh, like nobody likes any of my posts. Nobody does anything. But then every once in a while there'll be some random message or Keiko or someone, someone Gilmore related will post me or tag me in something. And I'm like, oh, hey.
Yeah, it's funny because like that's kind of how, so I think I told Shelly already, I got invited onto John Cabrera's show.
Oh, yeah.
So I was sitting chatting with him, and he's a big Twitterer.
Yeah.
That's I mean, he slid into my Instagram DMs, but it was the Twitter side of things that really took off for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing, not apparently, I am doing, Scott's doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, they asked me if I would come on next week sometime with him and review The Deer Hunter, the episode 4.
Oh, okay.
Are you in that episode? Like, I'm assuming you are in that episode, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the one where the deer hits her Jeep? Is it that episode?
Yeah.
I mean, it's episode 4. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It was before my time. I've never even, I mean, I feel like I've seen clips of it just because I'll pop in, but I've never seen that whole episode.
Anyway.
Anyway,
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in many, many years,
right.
Decades, really.
When was the last time you talked to Scott?
In passing, very, very briefly at the Fan Fest 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun to recap the episode, and I'm gonna give a little plug to the Fan Fest, of course, and because it's so fun, and Jenny and Marcus put together something so amazing.
In October, right?
It's in October. Yeah. It's in Kent, and I can tell you this. I've every once in a while read on the Fan Fest website or feed on like Facebook, and newcomers are say stuff like, "But is it? I mean, is it worth it? Is it what's it like and stuff?" And the fandom for Gilmore Girls is such a thick, rich community, and everyone is so kind and generous to each other, and everyone is really welcoming. I mean, I went to my first one 2 Octobers ago, and I was so welcomed by everyone, and I get why the show carries on. The show carries on because of the fans. Yeah. Because the fans are so amazing, and the fans are so kind and inclusive, and it's just like a big community party. Yes. The Fan Fest is. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you guys to go to Kent though, because Kent had something special. That there's this little bar called, what is it called? Oh shoot, what is it called? I'm forgetting. And the fans are probably like, oh, it's this, but they have a piano there. And after the festival is like done, like for the night, everybody just hangs out the bar and they play the piano, and like Liz Torres is singing, belting out songs, and Nick Holmes is there hanging out with the fans, and you don't know who Nick Holmes is, but you'll meet him again. You'll meet him soon enough.
Yeah,
pretty soon. And he's quite the character. But it's just so much fun.
Yeah,
you don't want to sleep. You just don't want to sleep, although you do have to because it's 3 days long, like or 2.5. But yeah.
Oh yeah, the last night for it 2 years ago, the last night, Saturday night before the brunch on Sunday, I stayed up so late. Finally, Dale Buick is one of the volunteers. She's so awesome. I'm like, I'm starting to have a panic attack. I need to go home. And she's like, I got your back, girl. So she just took me home, and it was like, I finally fell asleep, and the next morning at the brunch, man, I was on the struggle bus. I was just like, I'm on no sleep here, people. I'm doing the best I can, but I think I pulled it together. But man, it was hard. It was like,
well, we'll talk.
I wanted to just pop in and say hello, and I miss both of you guys. I had such a great conversation with him last week. We ended up talking for like 3 hours. I know the podcast was only like an hour and a half or something, but we were just like, oh my God, and this and this and this.
Well, this is what we'll do. I'll do my outro real quick, and then we'll chat for a couple seconds.
Thank you so much, by the way. This has been really fun.
Oh my gosh, Shelly! Like, thank you for like the opportunity and sitting to talk. Sit and talk with me. This is like so cool. And Valerie, thank you for stopping by. Everybody else, if you are a fan of this podcast, hit that subscribe button and be sure to follow me on your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you are on. Follow me there at The Vibe with Kai, or you can visit my website, thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. To my guest, Shelly Cole, hey! Thank you so much for stopping by. As always, my friends, God bless and good vibes. I love it.